Okay, so for this JavaScript exercise, we're going to take an array, and then we're going to have some arguments that talk about which elements in the array we want to remove. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let's say we have an array like this, and we pass some numbers through it. Let's just go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then outside of the array, let's say we want to remove all the 2's, and we want to remove all the 3's. Which means we will return an array that looks a little bit like this, just 1, 1. How do we do that? So we have what's called arguments and an array. We're going to get to that in a little bit. Before I go into all of this, I just want to show one thing real quick, and that is called remove falsy items out of an array. So I'll try to get through this as quickly as I can, but let's say we have a funny looking array here with all sorts of crap in it. Let's say we have number 34, and we have false, we have 0, and we have an empty object, and we have apple, string, all sorts of stupid shit in here. Another number, and then we have not a number, and then we have I'm a smart dude. Okay, this is just a strange looking array. And let's say we want to remove all the falsy items out of this array. What are they? There's 6 things that are falsy. False is one, 0 is another, not a number, null, undefined, an empty string. Let's put an empty string in there too. We'll get rid of that. So there's a real quick way to do this. We can create a function, and let's call it remove falsy, and then give it a code block, and then we'll call it out here remove falsy. And then this is an array. So, okay, we have our array, and let's say there's a method I want to show you called filter. And in this filter method, we have to pass through a function. And from the function, of course, we have a code block. And so I like to enter these out and then put all my fun stuff in here. So inside the function, I'm going to return we have to pass a value to the function first. And there's something I want to show you called the Boolean objects. And so Boolean objects look a little bit like this. Boolean, and I have val. And so if I assign all this to a variable and call it call it new array, then I return that array. Return new array. I'm going to get this array here back with all the falsy items removed. Okay, there we go. We don't have the 0 anymore. We don't have false. We don't have not a number. They're all gone because we use this. That's how a filter method works. You pass through a function, and then you use the Boolean object to remove all the falsy items. There's a real easy way to do this. You just do this. In Java, I think it's in ECMAScript 5, they made this. So it's real simple. And then we'll get the same result from here. Boom, it's done. So I want you to remember this. Dot filter Boolean, and what it does, it removes the falsy items out of a function. Let's go back to our array that we had. We had 1, 2, 3. I should have just commented this out. 1, 2, 3. And then we had some numbers like 2 and 3 outside of it. So back to our little problem here. We want to remove all the 2's. We want to remove all the 3's. So let's get to it. All right, let's call it destroyer. That's our function name. And let's give this a function. And that's an array. And then return array. This is typically how we do it. We can just get the array back. What am I doing here? What did I miss? Destroyer, to the array. What's wrong here? Function. So a real stupid mistake I made here. Forgot the comma. So here's the array, and these are the items in the array. So all right, cool. I want to show you something. Watch what I do here. Return arguments. Let's see what happens. Boom! We get an object. Objects are in curly brackets. What do we have in this object? At the 0 index, we have our array. At the first index, we have the number 2. At the second index, we have the number 3. Arguments, that's what we're going to talk about today. It's powerful. We can call different items in the object. We can call the first one, call the second one, call the first, well, 0, 1, 2. And that's what this is. We pass arguments through our function, and then we can return those arguments one at a time, or we can return them all in an object. That's cool. So the problem is we don't want to use an object because objects are pretty limited. How do we turn all this stuff into an array? Because array, obviously, we can use different methods on array. We can go to town on it. Well, there's a new thing that goes a little bit like this. It's called array.prototype.slice.call arguments, and then we'll return this. And what does it get us? It gets us all those elements back into an array. This is long, cumbersome. I kind of hate it. There's a better thing you can do. I think it goes like this. I got to try to find it here. I think it's called array.from arguments, and boom, we get the same thing. You can also do this. Let me see. I think it's an empty array slice argument. Okay, it's newer things that were thrown in there that are smaller. I'm going to use this and call it from. So now we have all the items in our arguments returned as an array. So let's put that into a variable and then return it. We'll say var, we'll call it args, and then let's return that variable args, and then we'll leave it at that. Put this back up here. Okay, cool. Now we can do some damage. So what's the first thing we do? Well, we have an array here with a subarray and with 2 items in the array. We want to use these values to start taking shit out and get our desired result. So, easy. We'll just use a for loop. For I equals, we'll start at 0. Oops, equals 0. And then I is, let's start with the array. And then let's move up on it. And then let's see what we get. Console log, this should work just fine. Ri, there will come a day where I don't have to console log anymore. That day is not today. It spits out all the things that I want. Let's try something else here. Let's go for, let's separate that with a semicolon. Let's make another for loop for the all the stuff outside of the array. So let's go with variable j. Let's just move up the alphabet, equals 0. And then let's go, j is the length of args.length. And then we'll increment args up here. And then we'll console log args. And we'll see what that gets us. Boom. That gets us everything, one at a time. So, we can just console log. I want to see what I get out of this. I'm getting everything out of j. You know, of course, j goes through the whole console, or the whole array one at a time, including the sub array right here. So we'll keep this for loops back to back. Now we have all the items here with the j. That's the whole array. We have array index of I, and that gives us everything that gives us everything. Subarray and the array. The length of, well, this is the length of R. No, it's the length of R. Yeah, okay. I don't know why it's so long. So anyway, so we just want, if they match, if this matches, we see the 2's here, and we see the 3's here. But if we have args, we're not going to see the 1's, I don't think. So, yeah, we just have, okay, yeah. So, all right. So here we go. If we have 2's and 3's, if we have 2's and 3's, we want them to remove them. So we have our I, if it equals args j, then we want to, we want to delete. Yeah, let's give the code block if statement. Delete the I index, and let's see what that happens if we return args. Oh, we get empty items. But you know what though? We got the things here. What have we got? R. Return the array. Yeah. Okay. So we have the 1 here and the 1 here. We just have to remove these empty items somehow. Well, those are falsies, aren't they? So what do we do here? Remember our handy little filter? Just like I told you. Boolean, and then return, and bam, we have it. We removed all the 2s, we removed all the 3s, and that's how it's done. Thank you.